You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The multi-talented
Amanda Seals.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
It is so interesting to watch Amanda just continue to grow, man. It's people out here that be talking to us like we don't know Amanda Seals.
Really?
Like, yes, because like kids in general, like you're new to them, like in a way. No, that's a great thing.
Fine, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I'm new to me.
Do you know? You think Instagram is causing a big? I don't know. I don't want to call it resurgence, but
Yeah, I mean, 2 days ago was the anniversary of my Caitlyn Jenner moment.
that was 2 years ago.
No, that
right?
was
The
the
13th.
2 days ago, the
Oh,
13th.
the 13th,
Yeah,
okay.
that was like the 1 year anniversary. And I know some people might be like, "How you got a 1 year anniversary?"
It
for that?
pops up.
But like people, somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh, that was a year ago." But that changed my life. So because after that happened, it went from like, "Oh, you on a TV show," to like, "Thank you, sister. Thank you, queen." You know, and it went from like, "Oh, you just somebody who be talking," to like, "Oh, when you're in real spaces where things need to be said, you'll say it."
That's amazing because we've known you for so long. I don't look at it as like, wow, that changed Amanda's life. Because I look at it as like, this has always been Amanda.
Yeah. Always.
Well, my mom, who is West Indian and therefore
Hey, mama.
does not acknowledge anything of Your Excellence. When it happened, I was like, yo, like I'm going viral. Like, you know, this is like a thing. And she was like, I don't really know about all that, you know, and was really trying to downplay it until we were in the mall and we were in an Apple store and 3 people came up to us and it was a white chick, a straight black guy, and a gay black guy. And they all came up and were like, "Thank you so much for what you said. Thank you so much for what you said. Thank you, sis, for what you said." And my mom was like, "Oh my God, okay, people know it. I have to go watch the clip." I'm like, you know.
She never watched it before that.
I'm like, you be trying to sun me. But no, I think it was really cool too because I think a lot of people in Hollywood got to see like off rip that I'm a real one. And, you know, not everybody a real one.
It's tough to balance that though. Tough to balance realness. Tough to balance funny. Tough to balance intellect.
Intellect.
He's intellectual.
Put some intellect on it. Artists. I mean, if I'm speaking pacifically, no, it's it's not. I mean, that's me.
But to do it authentically though, like you can go to you and you can get commentary about social issues, sexism, things that are
Baby
going on in the world.
hairs.
But then if you just feel like fucking around and being funny, you can do that too. Everybody can't do that. So it's a good balance of ratchetness and righteousness.
Ratchetness, and righteousness. Yeah, I mean, who knew that the video of me saying that Roseanne Barr, you know, the video of me singing like, you know, you got the wrong one, bitch. I didn't know that would go viral, and that ended up becoming a whole song. People are like, put it on as a ringtone. You got the wrong one.
Do your agents and stuff ever hit you like, could you pull back a little bit?
No, they be like, go,
Keep
bitch,
going,
go.
do another one.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think anybody can tell Amanda to pull back on anything.
No. I mean, if you want to get cursed out, sure.
Definitely cursed out.
No, that's not true. I don't know everything.
And if it's something I think that you feel like is productive or is coming from a good place,
Yeah.
you'll at least take it into consideration. Nobody should be scared to tell you something.
And I have like people around me that know me, and that I trust. So like I know that if they're bringing something to my attention, they're not doing it for any other reason than because they genuinely have a good intention for myself. No, I'm not stubborn like that. I mean, I'm really a best idea wins kind of person. Because, you know, we all have emotions and whatnot. So sometimes you really do like get in the emotions of things. And I've been really working on thinking things through and taking out emotion, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like sometimes you need someone to be like, hey. But I don't think it's about holding back as much as just like learning how to temper things in the right audience. You know, like you don't got to find a different way to be. You just got to find different versions of real.
Have you ever been surprised by what somebody's been offended by that you've said, like, I can't believe people are
Yes,
mad
because
at that?
some chick this morning, I was looking at my comments about the Caitlyn Jenner situation, and I had mentioned to Caitlyn Jenner in that conversation how in the 70s, there was a number of black households that were on welfare, and that they had made like this stipulation that if a man lived in the house, that you could not get government assistance. And so I feel like that has also created a chasm because a lot of women felt like, all right, well, you got to go in order for me to get this assistance, even if, they're trying to build a family. And this woman was like, I'm just incredibly disappointed. All caps and disappointed. Just all caps, italicized disappointed that you would continue this narrative because it's really not what it is. And it's like, I mean, I'm not shading you. The facts are shading you. Like, this is what...
I didn't make the rule.
It's just what it is. I mean, this is a reality. Have you ever seen the movie Claudine? Like, get into it.
Listen, I did the reel yesterday, and I was on there saying white people.
You did the talk, by the way.
The talk.
Okay. I was like, they're on hiatus.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did the talk yesterday, and I said white people, and a woman said, you don't want nobody to use the N-word, but you calling us white people.
You are white people. What are you talking about? Who said that to you?
Somebody on
Who
social
said
media.
that?
I retweeted it. I was like,
you
got to
don't
be a
want us
bot.
to use the N-word.
Well, what's the problem with Charlamagne? He uses the term
mayonnaise.
Crack-ass cracker. He uses mayonnaise. He uses colonizers. And white people
I didn't say none of that yesterday. I said
didn't say
white
yesterday,
people.
but you do
In
say it.
general.
I mean, I think that, for folks to have a problem with that, it's like, do you have a problem with reality? Like, that's my problem with the whole argument of like trying to equate what we say about white people to what we say about black people. Like, the histories are not the same. The situations are not the same. It's a false equivalency. Don't ever say to me like, well, stop saying nigga if you want white people to stop saying it. Because I don't base my blackness upon the spectrum of what white people can do. The two are two different things. If you are a black person and you don't want to say nigga or you don't want black people to say nigga, make it about the fact that you have an issue with the word and what it represents. But don't ever tell me about why I should not do something based on whether white people can do it. If you don't want them to use it, you shouldn't say it. I'm like, that's two separate issues, And I think that we've just been so colonized, that we really, in a real way, think that white approval is the standard for what should get done or what shouldn't be done. And it's like, that's why I created Smart, Funny, and Black, because we've had so many negative images of black culture. We've seen so much in our schools of just like being taught about our identities and our history, like in a very kind of asterisk kind of way. It's like, by the way, slavery, by the way, Martin Luther King. And then you're not even going to learn about Malcolm X unless you like have a black parent or somebody that's like teaching you. So I created Smart, Funny, and Black because I was like, nah, we need to have a celebratory space for black culture. And also like we need to have a space where we can talk about black culture through a comedic lens in a real way.
And you're on tour right now. You go on tour July 31st.
We're going tour July 30th through August 14th, 10 cities. And it's like, it's a dream.
Aren't you taping during this time?
No, we finished.
Finished.
We air August 13th. We air August 12th. Yeah. No, we finished. I mean, this is my baby. Like,
it's gonna be nice on tour while the show is also back. Right towards the end of it, the show comes back on the air.
It wasn't. Honestly, it's just the way things land. I mean, to be honest, like, the beautiful thing is to be able to be on a show like Insecure, but also have my own entity. And I think a lot of folks, like, when they get a shot, they forget about their own stuff, know? And it's like, no, the shot is to help propel and continue to motivate your own stuff. Like, because I've been able to be on Insecure, it has only legitimized, my messaging. It's only, given me peace of mind in terms of money so that I can like focus on the creativity. And with Smart, Funny, and Black, it's not just like a live show with a band and folks being on stage being funny. It has a purpose. I want you to learn while you laughing. And so, I just really always tell people, like, don't ever work harder for somebody else than you're going to work for yourself. Like, that's always the thing that I see people doing. Our parents have done that forever.
100%.
Like,
100%.
They work and work and work and work. And then they be looking at you like, oh, you like your job? Like, you like, that's not how it's supposed to be. I'm like, no, that's how it's going to be.
Smart, Funny, and Black, I've said it a million times. That's the best game show that's not on television.
It don't need to be on television. I sold it, and then I took it back, and I sold it again, and I took it back because I realized that the value of the show would be diminished by putting it in a space where people are in control of it that don't care about its value
I feel you on that.
or about what it can do for the people. There's other projects that I'll sell, but with Smart, Funny, and Black, I realized that this is really a show that needs to be built up from the ground up with the people. Like, we are going to crowdfund eventually, but like doing these tours and y'all coming out and buying tickets in these cities and selling these shows out and getting merch, which you can get right now at smartfunnyandblack.com/bookstore. And
as you can see by the shirt she has on as well right now. There we go.
We got all type. We got duvet covers. We got blankets. We got pins. We got shirts. We got mugs. We got whatever you need. You know, your whole house could just be like Smart, Funny, and Blackness.
There we go.
I had an exec tell me that they fucked it up. They fucked up Smart, Funny, and Black. An exec told me that. An exec was like, to be honest, we was trying to make it Smart, Funny, and White.
You better tell me who that is when we get off this mic.
Wow.
That's always the conversation. We would go in the room, and it's like the show has already been in existence for over a year at the time. Like, we've been doing it every month. It's the most turnkey project ever. Just put us on the stage, put the cameras, get the audience, let's go. And they were like, but are there white people? And here's the tea. When I first created it, it was like, no, it's Smart, Funny, and Black as the content. You don't have to be black to be on the show. But I've since gotten over that. Like, why can't we just have an authentically black space?
I agree.
Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think that it's really important because I feel like right now, a lot of people's energy is going into like, we need to fight the outside forces. And I think that's important. But in a multi-pronged approach to change, I think you need to have different energies going in different directions. And my thing is we need to not necessarily, for my work, is not to necessarily be fighting the outside forces, but like building up our inside forces. Like, we need to be enriching each other, you know? And I think we put so much energy into trying to fight with like folks that don't give a damn about black people. They don't even really care about white people. They care about money. You know, like, they don't even know what they care about. So
Could you call it Smart, Funny, and Broad?
Right. Can you Smart, Funny? Can you just call it Smart, Funny?
Smart and
like,
funny.
can you just Smart and Funny? Like, what about that? Nah. I have a master's in African American Studies. I get to put it to use every night that we do this show. And it's all about, you know, creating a place for folks to come through and laugh and get excited about Black history, Black culture, and the Black experience. And you can be any race, ethnicity, gender, class to come to this show. You just got to know your place.
You can come and learn.
Or laugh,
Yeah.
or both.
Yeah.
You know, you going to find out about W.E.B. Du Bois, and you also going to find out about, you know, what floor did Homeboy on Martin really live on.
There you go.
You know, so...
Fifth floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you believe in the institution of marriage? The reason I asked that is because Jason Mitchell was here, and Jason Mitchell said he doesn't believe in the institution of marriage.
I don't even know who that is.
Jason Mitchell.
He played Easy
Straight out
E.
of Compton.
Oh,
He's on
wow.
the
Shy.
See, okay, let me just say this, and this is no shade to him. I think we have reached a point now where, first of all, we keep calling free speech. We keep calling just people having an opinion free speech, which is not what free speech is. Free speech means that you can say what you want and the government cannot impede. Otherwise, free speech is really just you talking out your ass, okay? So there's that. But we've like misnomered free speech to mean like free access. Because really everybody can have an opinion now, like, and then have a platform to say it. But y'all, not everybody is a thought leader. Like, not everybody's opinion is valid. Like, not everybody's opinion is educated or has merit. Just because folks say something doesn't mean you have to give it like credence, you know? So like Jason Mitchell, if he's gonna talk to me about acting, or he's going to talk to me about, you know, parts on, you know, that he's played. And he's going to talk to me about things that he has researched. I am all here to listen and have interest. But, like, I don't really care about his opinion on marriage. Like, he's a young man, right? Isn't he like 20-nothing?
He's in his late 20s, I think.
32, he said.
That's young. That's what I told him. You're a kid, you're a baby, man.
I mean, listen, so what if he doesn't believe
But if he
in
doesn't,
marriage?
like, it's just like,
it doesn't
whatever.
really affect, it's just personal, everybody has their own opinion on that.
Like, that's
Everyone
what I
does.
mean. I'm not saying that, like, he's wrong for that. I'm just saying, like, his opinion doesn't inform my
opinion. As long
opinion.
as he's honest about it, it doesn't matter unless you trying to marry him.
I believe in the institution of marriage in the terms of when it's for the reasons that you want. And I say that because for some people, it really is a contract. And if both of you have agreed
we
to
get
that.
a break on our taxes. I know I make sure if something happens, I'm taken care of. If something happens to you, I know that I'm getting everything to me, and we have a kid together, and we want our kids to, whatever the reason is your reason.
Yeah.
If you choose not to, that's your reason too.
I just don't think that marriage is what defines whether you have succeeded or accomplished.
Right.
And that's the thing. For a lot of women, it's like, if I don't get married,
I'm
I
not
didn't
complete.
I didn't do what I was supposed to do out here. You know, I mean, I feel like that's in my trajectory, but that's just because I feel like that's part of my story. At some point, maybe I'll feel differently, but, you know.
It could happen. It could not happen. It doesn't mean that you didn't have a great life and you're not a complete person.
And I've been to weddings where I'm just like, why is this like this?
Let me ask you about this, because this was turned into a big thing, right?
Ugh.
All right, somebody tweeted out, Issa Rae teases season 3 Insecure will be about black masculinity, a topic I bet she thinks she's an expert on.
Oh, that was
My
Curtis
guess
Schoon who tweeted that.
She'll follow the trend of other prominent black women, producers, directors, writers, and filmmaking, and promote some sort of effery about black men. And Jay Ellis responded, but what do you think about that?
What did Jay say?
He said, as a black man who was a part of the first 2 seasons of Issa Rae and the very diverse writing staff of Insecure's work, I'd have to say, shut the fuck up. By the way, pick your pants up. Your toxicity is showing.
I mean, that's really bottom line. Like, it's toxic masculinity. I mean, I had somebody on my Instagram yesterday say, like, there is a movement against black men, against straight black men. And I'm like, there have definitely been movements against straight black men, but it ain't from black women.
Yeah.
Like, especially not right now. I think the movement, if anything, is to try to push straight black men into growing up and into stepping into a new space of acceptance of their own selves and of emotion and of going to therapy so that they're not consistently in, it's not even post-traumatic stress syndrome disorder. It's like current traumatic stress disorder,
100%.
being a black man in this country, so that they're not dealing with survivor's remorse for like winning in the midst of like a bunch of dudes who haven't been able to, like,
You read my new book already?
I'm just like, I know a lot of black women are really involved in wellness in a way that we never have been before. Like, wellness is a huge movement in the black women community, and I don't think it's reached over that far into the black male community in the same way. And so we are getting ahead.
A lot of women have been telling me recently they have PTSD because of relationships they've had.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
What?
Mutual friend of ours. Yeah. Mutual friend of ours is going through a really awful divorce, and she's talking about how she has PTSD. She had to go to therapy and everything for her situation.
She was getting hit on or something?
Well, he basically was cheating on her, moved out, was living with a whole nother woman, won't give her a divorce, and she's having an awful time trying to deal with it. They have kids together, and he's not keeping up with his end of the bargain, and it completely caught her off guard.
It's just like folks decide how do I put it? I feel like there really has to be something to be said for like being a man of your word or a person of your word. And I feel like too many brothers, like, that doesn't apply to what they connect with women on. It's like they will stick to that when it comes to their barber.
I'm not cheating on my barber. I have to go to the same barber. I don't care where I have to travel.
When it comes, it's true. Like, they'll stick to that when it comes to money. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if I told you I'm gonna pay you, and they demand it back. But when it comes to that with women, like, I said that we're committed and I'm not gonna cheat on you. It's like, but I might though.
But
and it
I'm a man,
hold...
and sometimes I gotta just grow up and get out of this phase. And
both of y'all know. Both of y'all know.
I haven't cheated since October 2016. I'm done.
The fact that you can name the date
what happened
means
in October?
it was too recent.
It's like being sober. I'm serious.
You got your chip?
I know my date. I got my 10-year chip.
I got my tip.
I've heard, by the way, no, I'm not going to say nothing.
What?
You have a chip.
I've heard you say the year too, though. I remember he told me the year. I was like, really?
I know we all know the year.
No, like, I see y'all in Rob Lane with the faithful male community,
Damn right.
and I really like that because it's like making faithfulness cool.
Right.
And for black folks, like, we need that. Like, that's what Smart Funny and Black is really on. Like, we gonna make education and being learned and being about this beauty and blackness cool. Not that it's not, but like just completely trying to elevate that. So I love that y'all do that because and this is in no way to say that there aren't like women who are shady. Like, I feel like whenever I as a woman talk about this on my Instagram, like, men are always like, but what about women? And I'm like, I don't date women. I'm not in the vagina business. Stop expecting me to get like, but I just think that there really is such a pushback from men, a lot of black men, on women who simply want to be holding them accountable and want to empower them, and instead of like meeting the challenge, it's looked at like you're trying to like put me down. It's like, nah, I'm trying to show you like, yo, you could be this, like, rise up.
And a lot of men act, I was going to say, but just along those lines, I was going to say a lot of men also act like you have a problem if you don't forgive them and try to help them work on themselves, because you have the option to stay or leave. If I decide to stay and work through it, I can. If I decide to leave, you can't fault me because you messed up and I left.
You got to decide, are you investing or are you sacrificing?
You know what I want to talk about? Because when I talk to students in school sometimes, 2 stories that I talk about. I talk about my story coming up. I talk about Charlamagne's story because it's a fucked up story. And
God damn.
Wow,
Tyler Perry?
he got fired at 9 times. He got touched as a kid.
Yeah, you got devil AIDS? Because Tyler Perry always giving somebody AIDS by the devil.
Double. Yeah, exactly.
It is the truth. And I also talk about your story,
You do?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I seen it. I seen it up close and personal. And the fact that, you never gave up, but you always kept that smile on your face. So to see the success, talk about that as far as that grind, because what you put into this industry, a lot of people don't see. They only see the insecure.
Nah, that's true.
Wax was out there talking about, yo, I thought you just talked hella shit. I didn't know that you was like doing mad shit. You got podcasts, you got YouTubes. I was like, Wax. What? He's like, I'm like, Wax, you literally came to my show at Caroline's that was sold out, and I did an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
He was like,
killing.
And you killed him. Like, you were there. He's like, yo, my bad, yo.
Wax went down Amanda Seals wormhole one day. Like, when he turned to me, he goes, Amanda fine as hell, but yo, who want to wake up to this every morning?
Man.
And you know what?
Why did you do that,
You know what?
I told her that.
And the irony of that is that if I'm with you, you're waking up to head every morning.
Tell Wax that now.
What if you're running late?
People have, I'll give you a quick one. But it's just that it's so crazy how people like have such a misperception about like what you put out. Like I'll have people on my Instagram all day like, oh, you don't have a man, and it's like I have suitors all year long,
right.
and I'm like, no, so that's not it.
Accurate.
But
I want you
that
to talk
speaks
about
to
the
the
grind. I want
grind.
you to talk about that grind from the
I'm going to talk to
beginning.
the grind because it actually correlates with the personal life, because I really do believe that like I will meet somebody. So it kind of continues to drive me in a positive way to continue to be hopeful and give people opportunities, etc. With the grind, I've always believed like in my actual talent. I always knew my worth, but you have to know your market value. And so people don't understand the difference between that, and that's how you get in the way of like advancing. But you known for a long time, like I've always been like talented.
But why did you give up? I mean, because you started Sirius Radio. And
God damn.
Why didn't you give up?
up?
And by the way,
she
she did not start at Sirius Radio. She started before that.
But think about everything. She started in college. She went to Sirius. Then
I
she
started
went to
when I was
Nickelodeon.
Then she was in Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
She did so much
She didn't go to college and
stuff.
go to Nickelodeon.
She started when she was 8.
You know what
I never
mean.
gave up. I never gave up because I had so many people around me also that never would let me give up. You were one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
You were one of those people. I met Charlamagne later, but at the end of the day, it's like you have become one of those people in this phase of my life where like you'll be like, yo, I did not want to put my Benz on my Instagram. Because I was like, I don't want to look flossy. I don't want to look like I'm trying to stun on people. I don't want to be Hove pulling up at the end of Imaginary Player and say, what's that, a 4.0 or 4.6? That shit's even got leathers. Like, I didn't want to be that person.
Right.
But then Maine was like, you have to put it up because you got that being your complete self. Like, you got
Absolutely.
that without having to forsake any of your integrity, and you need to be able to show people that you can get what you want, whether it's material or not, by sticking to your guns. And so I think that's one of the main issues. And also, there was a certain point where it was just like, what, I have a degree, but I don't have a desire to do anything else. I've always known that this was the space I need to be in. I just needed to find my way to it. Like, for all intents and purposes, Smart, Funny, and Black is my first hit. Like, I've been creating stuff for a long
time.
I've been on many of
time.
those platforms.
Yes,
for
you've been
you.
on many of my
Yeah.
platforms. And, like, even, like,
But we all knew that it was going to pop off.
you just...
It still hasn't pop. It's gonna pop.
Thank
Man,
you.
they're gonna pop.
But you somehow have to remember that, like, it's development so that when you do pop,
You're ready.
you're ready.
Absolutely.
Like, I know, like, right now, like, by the time we did Smart, Funny, and Black, I already know how to write in my comedy style. So I can write a Smart, Funny, and Black. I can write a whole 2-hour show in an hour. I already know I used to be an artist. I have music. Like, you can go on YouTube and see my music videos, etc. So with the band, I know how to lead a band. I know how to tell the band, what key to go in, etc., etc. Like, and then I also do production. I used to do hella productions. I mean, Ange has been in damn near all of them. So I know how to handle myself on stage, etc., etc. But sometimes we get frustrated on the path. And to your point, people give up because they're like, damn, why shit ain't turning over yet? And it's like, I think a lot of that too is like people think that they're owed the turnover. Like, I put in the work. Like, why hasn't it happened? And that's when you have to really, really step back. And I we've talked about this before in here. Like I went to therapy and I had to really step back and say like, okay, what are the ways that I'm getting in my own way? And I think that, there's a certain stankness that I had that was unintentional. And I think there's a certain level of like frustration that gets put out there because you're just like, why am I having to like explain these things? And it's really not trying to be at anybody. It's just your own internal work, carrying itself out. But the reason I say it's so important to know your market value versus like your own personal value is because that's what drives you crazy.
Right.
When you know
what
like,
you're worth, but it's not.
It's like homeboy, your friend Kanye. Is these niggas better than me? Like you really feel that way. Like you heard what I said. And it's all these folks out here winning, and you like, what am I doing wrong? And you have to really look at yourself and be like, well, I know when I first got to LA, I had to really remember, like, I had to really take a look at, like, what is the value of the work I've done? I've done a lot of stuff, but nothing had real, like, poignant, like, market value. It was valuable to me, but it didn't have enough value in terms of, like, credits for agents, et cetera, and these things that people think, these things that do matter. And so what was great about becoming a part of the cast of Insecure was that it legitimized, it was a credit that was legitimate to like other people, and you need that, but you have to understand like that's part of the game. And a lot of us we get bent out of shape and we quit because we don't understand the game and we don't understand the difference between knowing your worth, but also knowing that there's like other value to other projects and that you got to get in certain spaces to increase other people's perception of your work. And
instead
if you
of
don't
taking it personally, just kind of step back and say, okay.
No, this is the game.
And worth is different from how we grew up, though, because worth isn't dollar amounts to these kids no more. It's followers and likes and retweets. I remember dropping you off years ago to your crib in Harlem, and you was like, it's nothing worse than being broke and famous.
It is so irritating.
And there's a lot of broke, famous people now. But to them, they don't care because they got all these followers and likes.
See, and to me, that's not... I mean, I feel like that's when influence is really important. Like, what are you doing with that? I feel like this is an interesting time where you're on this internet and you have so many eyeballs. I mean, I don't have nearly the amount of followers as like a number of my peers in terms of like the millions, who are like Instagram influencers, et cetera.
Follow at Amanda Seales.
But I have a following that is active, and I think it's super dope. Like when I say like, hey, let's raise money for these young women to go on a trip to the Dominican Republic, people like put that over the top within 5 hours. When I say like, hey, I really am big on like giving money to young women traveling or young people traveling. That's like a very big platform for me. And it's just dope to see that my following, I call it, it's the ratchet hoes. I mean, sorry, that's not the ratchet hoes. It's the responsible hoes. It's the responsible hoes. That's my following. I looked at wax and it just ratchet. It's the responsible hoes. Like my following is like, we know our 401k. You know what I'm saying? We have a 401k. We know our credit. We get, annual pap smears. You know what I'm saying? But like when we hear Cash Money taking over for the 9,900, like we know what is supposed to happen. We waking you up with head in the morning. The responsible hoes.
And you mentioned Kanye. He posted about you. He tweeted about you.
Charlamagne told him. Charlamagne told him.
I know he did.
Okay.
Kanye was front row center when I did Def Poetry Jam in 2001. Like if you watch it on YouTube, like he's sitting right there, like. And I've interviewed.
It's a picture of you, Kanye, John Legend, and
88 Keys.
Right?
Yep, from when I was doing MTV. I mean that whole. It's so funny because. And just like that whole. It's a very interesting time right now. Lines are being drawn. I think people are really showing. They're showing themselves and they're showing what is valuable to them. And, I think it's interesting how, like, we have absolutely really been very specific about, like, who we choose to criticize about their allegiance with 45 and who we choose to let slide. And when it comes to Black women, I feel like we have been completely, like, hardline about it. But when it came to this guy, I don't know if it's because he does good songs or you like his sneakers or what. It's like folks were very easy to simply just be like, well, it's not that bad. It's not that deep.
He's just trying to express himself and have freedom of speech.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. And when we undermine the level of danger that is associated with someone like Kanye West openly supporting 45, and then his wife openly, supporting and literally being on camera and saying like, oh, Kanye legitimized him. Like, you have to acknowledge that. And when I see my peers and people I know that are just like, well, it's fine, let's just go to Wyoming and like just live it up and dance it up. It says to me like, okay, if you're a journalist and you had to go there for work, I can respect that. But if you went there to be cool, and you went there because you have somehow done the mental gymnastics in your head to make it okay, you are literally on a path of just being a part of the problem. You are part of the problem. And I stand by that. And I know you're going to counter, so what's up?
Oh, no, we already had this conversation. I mean,
I couldn't bring myself to go to Wyoming. I was like, I'm good.
That's because you
I'm going to Kai's
You see what your
birthday
shirt
party.
say?
I agree with what Amanda's saying. Like, I feel like if you got a job to do, you go do your job. Like April Ryan, them, they don't like talking to Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Donald Trump and all of them, but that's their job. So if you're a journalist and you're down there for that reason,
I agree.
Yes.
But we're seeing the music business that we are in, like, it's in a new era right now. You see these label cats that have been there for 20 years and like, this is a new era. Like, and I'm like, it's coming on you, because you're no longer just an artist. Like, you are an individual that has more than your music to market and to, connect you to people, etc. So with that being said, we have to acknowledge also that like, for a long time, the music business, and we all know this, has been like this secret society. Like when Me Too hits the music business, ain't gonna be no more hip hop.
It's gonna start.
It hasn't hit already?
It's coming.
Not yet.
It's coming.
Very little.
It's because the mind fuck has already started to take place of like, no, you can't say it because it's against, the black man, and it's gonna put people down. I mean, that's what they tried to do with the Russell thing, But at the end of the day, it's like when you start hearing people like Khalees start speaking out, and you start hearing people like myself speaking out. I haven't even said my stories, all of it. I mean, Reese got at Talib the other day and was like,
who's Reese?
Reese is an artist that was on Talib Kweli's.
Oh yeah, she got Talib.
Okay.
Actually, my best friend produced her first album.
Yep.
Santi.
Go.
It's gonna tell me about a story too that he said I was there, and I was like, I don't freaking remember.
Wait,
I
you
don't
were
think
where?
you can bring that up on camera, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Where were you?
Okay.
Well, tell me after.
Yes.
Because I want to know.
It was you.
It was with me?
What?
He said I was there,
Yeah.
and I did nothing.
A moment of a guy being trash
What happened?
and saying something
Share
to
with
you.
us. You got to share with the room, guys.
Oh, you were right there, nigga.
I don't remember.
You was right there.
I don't remember.
You was sitting right there.
What?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
You was sitting. I was in a situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You would put me in the situation.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
But not in a bad way. Like, you had the best of
wasn't-
intentions.
Oh,
right.
No. You had the best of intentions.
I didn't send her down that road. It was a good road.
You had the best of intentions. But to your defense, it was so normal for this person to speak to me in that way that it didn't even rattle you. It was you and your homeboy. And it was just like, and I remember having to do the mind work with myself, like, this is not okay. Like, I know that it seems like it's okay by the surroundings, but no, I was in a meeting. I can explain the situation.
Yeah.
I was in
You
a
can say
meeting.
the whole thing if you want. I just didn't know.
I don't feel like dealing.
Okay, got you.
You see what just happened?
Right. Yeah,
Because I don't feel like dealing.
with the bull
Yeah,
crap.
yeah,
Like,
I don't want to have to
And
deal
that's
with
why
it.
all these women don't say
That's
anything.
why we don't say shit, because I don't want to have to deal with it. And now we have these internets, and niggas get on the internets, and they little internet thugs come behind and be like, he don't want to fuck you, da 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 da. And you're just like, you know what? I should have just kept it to myself and gone to therapy. So Envy had brought me into a meeting for a job, and while we were at the meeting, the individual was talking to me, and he was saying that I should change my name. So that was most of the meeting, like him being like, nah, you shouldn't be Amanda Diva. Amanda Diva ain't cool. Nobody's gonna listen to you. I'm like, but people are already listening to me, whatever. And then I made a reference to like how the industry changes, etc. And somehow or another, we got on the topic of people like sleeping their way into positions. And it wasn't about me. Like, it was about like a specific incident. And this person, who is an executive that is interviewing me to hire me for a job, was like, well, when you gonna fuck me?
In
And
front
Envy,
of
you were
everybody.
sitting right
I don't
there.
remember. But
Envy
she
was sitting
there.
right
I
next to
don't
him like
remember.
this. And I know, because y'all have to know, like, Envy has been a brother. Like, Envy has looked out. Like, I remember in one of those moments of the grind being too much, I always tell the story of, like, I was on Twitter just, like, lamenting, and Envy called me and was like, what stop. Like, stop crying. Stop acting like you don't know what to do and create some opportunities for yourself. And you, like, gave me a blueprint. And even though, like, I wasn't able to turn those opportunities into, like, big things, it gave me hope. And hope is a whole other currency that you can ride, you know? But
So he
that
told you pull yourself up by
situation,
your bootstraps?
he told me I mean, he essentially was like, you have stuff that is worth something. So, like, put it to work.
That's a
like,
fact.
that's something that a lot of us don't realize a lot of times. Like, I've managed to put all of my stuff to work, so I haven't had to fuck anybody to get into a position. You know what I mean? Like, now that we have Smart, Funny, and Black, it's like, I designed this logo. So I've put my art to work. You know, I designed the logo. We have merch for sale, you know, so you can get the merch. It's like, but I know how to do merch because I had to paint tote bags to make money. And I had to, like, you know, try and scrounge up a little money, a little couple of dollars here to get some t-shirts to sell, you know.
Go to Grenada.
And go to Grenada, you know, and then, like, my website. Shout out to WordPress for building my website for Smart, Funny, and Black. And the website, like, I had to design the aesthetic for the website. You
used
know?
to DJ.
I used to DJ. I still DJ, which is why I'm able to know every song. So I can, like, put that in the show. So, you know, it's like, I've been fortunate, but it doesn't matter. And I say all that to say, like, it don't even matter how talented you are. Like, Me Too hits everybody. Like, it's just
Have you
a
seen
fact.
that individual again?
That individual be tagging me. That individual be Amanda Sealsing me. And I'll bet you money, he don't remember saying that shit to me.
Right.
Probably said it so much about it.
Said it so
To everybody,
much.
like, oh, damn, I said that.
So much. I mean,
I've seen him say it on camera, though. We all have.
yeah, but we all.
He said it on a TV show to another individual.
Okay.
Nothing. You're never the first.
Who is that?
You're
He didn't
never.
ask her to fuck. He just told her, I heard you fucked your way to the top.
Why would you say that to somebody? You know, like, and that's the thing. Like, it just
Yeah,
got.
sure
It's
did.
just
I remember.
gotten. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be crazy how.
It's
I mean,
about
I've had like a rapper literally like say to me, I was like, hey, I'm in town. You know, would love to link up. And I think maybe I was naive because I really just thought we have working relationships.
Oh, boy.
And this person's response to me was, I want to see your pussy. Show me with your fingers.
Whoa.
Jeez.
You're like, well, we're not hooking up now. I mean,
I mean, I
How do you
just.
show somebody your pussy with your fingers?
And that's what I've always
You know,
wondered.
it is
Is
a-
it like your spread? Is it your spread? Like, what is it? Is it a photo of the fingers?
That's what I'm
or is
saying.
it
That's
you?
what-
When he said through the fingers, I thought he meant put the fingers on the pussy, take a
That's
picture.
what I thought.
That's what I
Like
thought.
spread,
Okay, okay.
spread
and
the
it's
lips.
a delicate situation because a lot of times for women, like, we might want to connect and politic with people in a way, but you can't even ask for somebody's information because they think that you're trying to holler. They're going to try to holler at you. So sometimes you're like, man, I really want to talk to this person about potential opportunities, but I can't because I don't want to make it seem this way. And then the
Nope.
guys are going to be like, oh, she's trying to F. And you're like, I'm not really trying to do that. I'm trying to do the same thing y'all do.
I'm
Politics
just trying to
and
politic.
network.
If I'm trying to fuck, you gonna know.
Right.
Okay, like it's not gonna be like some surreptitious, you know, like you got to figure out the rhythm. No, it's gonna be a very clear, distinct movement.
There's a picture of Charlamagne sitting on Wendy Williams' lap. That's inappropriate.
That's
That's
inappropriate.
definitely inappropriate.
You know, I always tell this story. Quincy Jones asked me to sit on his lap. And I did it, and it was because
It was Quincy
it's
Jones.
Quincy Jones, and like you're in the interview,
God.
and he, you know, you're talking like
He
you got
asked
lemon
you to
heads in his
sit on
mouth,
his lap.
you know.
How
and
old were
he's
you
like,
then?
28.
When I sat on Wendy's lap, I had to be like 27,
But what was
28.
that conversation? Here, come sit here.
Yes.
That's exactly what the
She
conversation
bigger
was.
than me. What I'm supposed to do?
He was like, "Come on, sit on my lap," and I had told him that I love bass lines, that's like my favorite part of the song. And so when
He's actually doing, like,
I sat
Brazilian
on his
music?
lap,
He's like
he went
humming.
in my ear and went, "Ba-dum, dum, 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 dum."
What did Wendy say in your ear, Charlamagne? I'm just curious. What did Wendy say in your ear?
I don't remember. I go to therapy for stuff like that. I don't know.
You gotta purge, expunge that.
Oh, God.
Now,
But
so between what Khalees said
yeah,
and Kanye producing the whole album, are you listening to Nas's album Friday?
nah, not at all. It's not even about.
You know, if Amanda's not listening to Nas, you know that's serious. Like, Amanda's hip hop head.
Nas, man.
Nas is the subject of the third portion. My master's thesis was in 3 parts, and it was a thesis on the rap album as a continuation of the African American narrative. And Nas was a huge part of that because the first part was, just explaining. The second part was I broke down Biggie's Life After Death, record by record, in comparison to Native Son. And the third part was I interviewed a number of individuals who I considered to be hip hop, experts, from Beverly Bond to Talib Kweli, et cetera. And everyone kept saying, if you're going to do this and you talk about the narrative, you have to talk about Nas. He's one of the greatest MC storytellers of all time, So he was a huge part of that. He has a blurb on the back of my poetry book.
I remember being that serious and Nas had some type of dinner. Do you remember this? And
I was not allowed to go.
You were invited and then uninvited.
And I was uninvited because I guess, I'm not even doing this today.
But go ahead.
But no, I mean, I just feel like there's so much stuff that goes on. And it's just unfortunate, like, how much you just have to keep to yourself to protect people who don't have any shame. But like, y'all know, like, I really am a hip hop head. Like, I warm up when I'm going on stage. Like, my diction, warmer upper is I never brag, hurry like keep it, because it's the best secret. I rock a vest prestigious, Cuban link flooded Jesus, and the Lex watching Kathy Lee and Regis. My actions are one with the seat. I could do the whole thing.
So like that.
And we all know that one of the greatest verses of all time is through the lights, cameras, and action, glamour, glitters, and gold. I unfold the scroll, plan, sees the stampede, the globe when I'm deceased. But in the beast, I rise like geese, tip on capiche, leaving savages, roaming the streets, live on the run. Police giving me to give him my gun. Trick my wisdom with the system that imprisoned my son. Smoke a gold leaf, I hold heat. Nonchalantly, I'm raunchy, but things I do is real. It never haunts me. Wow. Funny sound niggas rolling the power. Rooster heads profile on a bus to reconcile. Holding weed inside their pussy with their minds on the pretty things in life. Props is a true thug's life. It's like a cycle. Niggas come home, some will go in, do a bullet, come back and do the same shit again. From the womb to the tomb, I presume the unpredictable. Gun salute life rapidly. That's the ritual. But he was beating his wife, so I can't listen to the album.
Damn. We can't even say it was an allegation?
Even if, I'm not here for it. And I know that it's not okay for women to hit men. It is not okay. But I think it's also beyond that. Like, I mean, there was just a lot in that interview.
It was the Wyoming picture?
There was a lot of things. There was a Wyoming picture. There was that interview. And there's my own experiences, and you just combine everything and you're like, I'm just as hypocritical as the individuals in Wyoming. I'm just as hypocritical as the individuals listening to R. Kelly, where I've somehow disassociated this person's music with them, even though I've had like personal exchanges with them that show the fact that they're not, of value. But what happens is it's like the music that you heard from them before you knew that still sits with you because that's associated with them in a different way. That's associated with your nostalgia, with your growth. You know what I'm saying? But like the new shit, I think that's for me what it is. Like I definitely can't listen to no new stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that like if Verbal Intercourse comes on that I'm gonna switch the song. No, but I'm absolutely not equating, Nas to someone who is like urinating on young women either.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible to not be a hypocrite in hip hop, though.
1,000%. I mean, I talk about that in my upcoming book, Small Doses, which is based on my podcast by the same name, Small Doses.
Small Doses. It's hard because Nas hasn't said anything about all of this either.
I know. But,
right. So we don't
He might in the music, though. I mean, it's not like Nas is a talker outside of the music. He made in the music.
Touche. But like I said, it's not just that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like these are things that, it's just doing the math. You and then you just grow up. I'm just grown. And there's just certain things that you have to just like remove from your space and cleanse. And it's not even like a shade thing as much as it's just like it doesn't have the same value anymore that it did. And, you have records that are part of your upbringing, but that doesn't mean that you have to still be a fan of the person and, of the artist. And I think that's my biggest issue with R. Kelly. It's like people still want to be fans of R. Kelly. Like, they're not even just like, I just like the music even though he trash. They still be like, no, like he a good musician. Like he's a good person.
People will be like, those women are willingly there. They're of age. They're adults. They've decided to make this decision.
Though 12 play ain't all that. In hindsight, I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's not.
It's like 6 great records on there, and everything else is trash filler. Honestly,
6 great records.
You can't
is a
just
lot
put 12 play on this.
I'm not defending R. Kelly, but I will say 6 great records on the album. A pretty good album.
Yeah, I don't even like R. Kelly.
Because you have to, because it ends up being a part of the whole conversation. Because people inevitably will be like, "Oh, well, what about Chris Brown?" You know what I mean? Like then you just start naming like folks and being like, "Well, what about them? What about them?" And it's like there's also a spectrum. Some people are like, wrong is wrong. And I'm like, no. Stealing a lip gloss from Target is wrong. It is not the same as shooting up a Target. That is also wrong. Like, we can't act like there's not a spectrum and create these like false equivalencies. Like, get out of here. You know, I mean, somebody like some unknown person wearing a MAGA hat, but that's a black person. That's wrong. Kanye wearing a MAGA hat, that's another level of wrong.
Right.
There's more, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, all of that. Like, get out of here. You know, so I love the music, but I can't support at this point. Like, there's just too much. You know too much, you know? And
how does cancel culture work? Can somebody be uncanceled?
Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Why not? People can be uncanceled, but the thing is that nobody want to do the work. People just want to be like, I said sorry. Can I come back? And it's like, we just have a very, very deep and rich history of black people in this country being oppressed and then choosing oppression. And a lot of us would rather replace the oppressor than no longer be oppressed. Like, it's almost like we want to have the power to oppress. It's like that's not the move. And I think that when it comes to being uncanceled, it's like, are you actively like showing that you have changed your tune, or did you just change your tune because that got uncomfortable over there? Because that's not.
You have to really show change and show that, okay, I know I messed up and I'm making efforts and taking steps to figuring out what I need to do moving forward.
No one wants to be 100. If you would just say, like, listen, I took the guap. You know what I mean? Like, I took the money.
Because we have to also know that people do make mistakes in life, and we have to know that we make mistakes.
But all
and
mistakes aren't created equal, though.
Right, and to
R.
own
Kelly
up to
can
those
never be
mistakes.
uncanceled.
No, you can't.
I mean, he's still making mistakes now. He's not,
he's peeing on someone right now.
Yeah, exactly.
To the tune, it seems like you're ready. It's like
he's like, y'all should have did this. He's like, y'all should have did this a long time ago. I done made my money.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just about that, and I think that, you know, it's a very unique experience being a black person in this country, because when you see black people in other countries that are fighting, they're in their country. You know, like I'll say, like when I saw Black Panther and I saw them fighting on Black Panther, I'm like, no, the white man is watching, no. But then I had to remember, like, nah, but they in their country, and if you're in proximity, there's going to be disagreements that may lead to fighting. That's why when people talk about black on black crime, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
You know, especially when the fact that there's been so much gentrification that you put even more black people on top of each other, you expect humans to not interact. But we are doing that in a unique way because we're doing that under the guise of a white oppressor. And so it makes it seem like we're not supposed to act like, you know, natural humans would and have conflicts, because then if we do it, then it looks like we're like less than we're supposed to be. And that's just a false concept.
Like when people say police brutality, well, y'all black people killing each other.
We live next door to each other and shit got hot. Like, you know, and white people kill each other
too,
all
the
day
time.
long. They're killing everybody else. There ain't no black mass shooters like that, you know? So I think that you can get uncanceled. I think it's important to have cancel culture. And I think it's important to have challenge culture, because I think it's important that we hold each other accountable. And it really upsets me when we act like holding black people accountable is somehow helping out white oppression. And I'm like, yo, I don't measure my ethics based on the ethics of a race that was literally created to oppress other people. Like, that whole notion is just twisted. Like, the quote-unquote white race was created to make it okay to go over an entire globe and rape and pillage and demean and diminish and obliterate people. So why would I base my ethics on anything going on over there? No, in the black community, you look at the Jewish community, they got their own ambulances, they got their own everything. Like, we should be having our own infrastructure of how we deal with things, of how we handle business, et cetera. And we did have that. And then integration came and it splintered that. And I think we need to get closer to getting back to that concept.
In some cases, they just straight up destroyed it, as in Black
Wall Street.
And everything you're saying is absolutely correct, but all somebody's going to do is get online and say, oh, hush, you're biracial. You don't know what you're talking about.
And that is false.
I know.
And that is false. And I love when folks be acting. I'm like, what are you? Oh, yeah, okay. Like, I don't know when light-skinned meant biracial. Like, look at Envy. He is bright as hell. Like, he's a full banana.
He just found out he's from Africa.
Did you do Ancestry?
Yes.
You didn't know?
He found out what
we're
tribe
all
he's
from Africa.
Me and
But
Charlamagne are from the same tribe, actually.
Which is what? Niggas.
I forgot.
Right.
It's 3.
That one.
That one. Nigga.
One was Mandiga.
Yeah.
Mandia.
We're brothers.
Medea.
One was Mandia.
He said Medea.
Medea.
I forgot. It's 3 of them though.
Yeah.
All right,
But
forget
the
it.
reality is like, that is part of, like, to somehow diminish like my blackness by my light skin and not even know how I got there. Like, that's just also a part of Black history in America is that there's going to be light-skinned Black people. Like, there was slavery and there was all types of interference and attempts to, diminish us. So I don't know. That concept is so foolhardy. I can't understand it for the life of me. And also, we've had so many like incredible leaders across the spectrum of melanin that it just seems stupid to somehow make it like I'm not valuable.
Huey P., Angela Davis. Malcolm
X. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. So,
DJ Envy.
But DJ, they love to be like, you blonde. You got blonde hair, so you ain't really down for the movement.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your intellect
And thank you for coming through.
My
Always,
intellect.
man.
this morning.
So I came here for this. So Smart, Funny, and Black, we're going on tour, the Lituation 101 tour, July 30th through August 14th. You can go to smartfunnyandblack.com for tickets. We are going from LA to Philly, New York, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Atlanta, New Orleans, Dallas, and Houston. We're coming to your
I can't believe you
town.
knew all of those off the top of your head. While you were
That's
saying
great.
them, I'm looking
reading
at the
them on
sheet
site.
like,
I'm like,
check,
wow, she's doing
check.
pretty good.
That's
Okay.
the routing. You got to know your shit. We are coming to your town. Come and rock with us. We're also going to be doing free masterclasses in certain cities because Smart, Funny, and Black is also about education. And we want you to come and, go get your merch so you can come through and rep. So you can go to smartfunnyandblack.com, go to our bookstore. And if you're listening to me and being like, I don't even know what she's talking about, you can go to YouTube Amanda Seals or go to smartfunnyandblack.com and go to videos and you can check out what the show is and just know that this is a show that is for the people, it's about the people, and we do it by any joke necessary.
All right.
She
Well,
does
thank you
this.
for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Amanda Seals.
This is the Breakfast Club. Good morning.